Hello everyone, my name is Mishal and you're watching Mishal's Law Series. And on today's episode, I'm honored Mr. Arshad Tayebaly with us. He is the senior partner at Mohsin and Tayebaly Co., one of the most leading firms in Pakistan in corporate litigation and commercial law. Sir, it's an honor for me to have you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
We'll be asking him five short questions related to his legal profession and his career, and let's see what he replies. So, sir, my first question from you is your firm, Mohsin and Taibali and Co., is one of the most leading firms in Pakistan, one of the top firms in corporate and commercial litigation firm in Pakistan. What do you think enabled you guys to succeed on such a level over 6 decades of experience?
So, a little bit about our firm is, of course, one of the oldest firms here, and it was started by my father, who had a. It was much smaller back in the days, and then myself and my brother Irfan, who are now looking after the firm, we came back in 1990. And he was working for a bank as a lawyer. I was studying, I was doing my master's at King's College. And when we came back in 1990, we kind of joined the firm, which was a much smaller firm at that time. And I think the whole idea was that with us coming back, you know, just hard work, getting new clients, working towards it, and God has been kind. It became bigger and bigger. So you had any particular question on that, on the history or the
Sir,
on the 6 decades?
an overall view of how you
Yeah.
guys made this so
So the
big.
thing is, yeah, and of course it does help because when we came back, there was I think at that time there was also not many corporate law firms. There was Orr Dignam and Co. There was Sargent Bacino, and we both had done. I'd done masters in corporate practice. He was with a bank, so there was a lot of work which we developed, which was not being done earlier. But it was a very slow progress. It's not like we suddenly became big, and now, Alhamdulillah, we have a large firm from Pakistani standards. We have an office in Lahore. We have about 40 lawyers here, 20 lawyers in Lahore. So it slowly was a gradual increase year after year.
That's perfect. Sir, my second question is, how do you think has the legal profession evolved since you began your career and now that you look at it? क्या changes आई हैं and what do you think about it?
Yeah, that's a good question, and a lot has changed. To be honest, when I started practice, and we had to, let me put it this way, we had to do it the hard way.
Yeah.
And I think there was no phones, there was no and I'll come to that later about AI, but there was no real help. And if you had to do some research, you had to start with the annual law digest and then start with the PLD and then start to look at the cases. It was not like you just look at those names and find that out. And so I think right now the change that has come is that it's actually much easier for the young lawyers, and the practice has also evolved in a way that uh, things are, people, even the clients, want it very fast. There's no patience. There was a lot of patience even with the clients. They used to come, अगर आपको केस दिया है तो they will probably be patient and they won't bother the lawyer, and a case is filed after some days and then it will be uh, there's an expectation was not that high.
Yeah.
Now unfortunately clients want immediate relief or immediate attention to their work and immediate advice, and which means that back in the days, let me tell you some small instance.
Yeah.
When there was no phones, there was no mobile phones. So when I started practice, my father used to say, after 7 o'clock, you're not going to take any phones from any client at home. And there was no problem. I didn't take the phone. The client understood, waited for the next day. But today, if we were to tell the client, this is the way the things have changed, that I'm not giving you my mobile number and you can't
Yeah.
message me on my mobile, nobody's going to come to you. So that's the way it's changed. The expectation from
Yeah.
clients is made. But at the same time, I feel that unfortunately, the research element, the learning element that perhaps you will have will not be as thorough, or it will not be as difficult, which is difficult is the wrong word, but will not be, you won't have that. uh, It'll be much easier for you. You want to just go out and say, you want to get an injunction, you just put it in AI and you'll get it. But obviously, when you'll probably ask me the other question in the end, that what was the advice, and I'm going to share some light on that also, what you guys should do.
That's perfect, sir. Sir, what do you think is that one quality every lawyer should have in order to for that particular lawyer to stand out in the legal profession?
One quality of the lawyer. Okay, so that they say that a good lawyer is not one who knows the law. The good lawyer is one who knows how to apply and use the law.
Yeah.
And that is the key uh, element that I think I would advise. And there's no substitution to hard work. Don't
Yeah.
take shortcuts, because when you take a shortcut, you can probably get the answer for that immediate work that you're looking at. But if you work the whole process through and everything, it will help you going forward, in ahead. And
Yeah.
one more, Mary, for litigating lawyers, one basic aspect that people don't realize is, whenever young lawyers start, they work on substantive law. Law, what is the law? They don't concentrate that much with procedural law.
Yeah.
And today's world, and even in my early days, you had to know the procedure. For example, if someone comes and tells you, many of the lawyers that I've met, and I've had some interns and all, they've graduated and they work for 2 years. When you tell them कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन पिटिशन फाइल करनी है कि सूट फाइल करना है, कहाँ फाइल करना है, when the client comes, he says, I want to do that. So you may know the law, you may
Yeah.
study the law, but where it keeps you an edge is the procedure. And that's where you will be able to make a difference. This is just on a small note in terms of your working the way. It sometimes gets ignored,
Yeah.
but you should concentrate on the procedural aspect to be successful. And the other thing is, your question was what for success for a young lawyer,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Growing as you develop in the law, you have to be, you have to understand what the client wants. And at the same time, you have to never forget that you are a student of law, you owe a duty to the profession. So if the client comes around and says that wants you to do something completely wrong, you have to look into him and explain to him that this may not be in your best interest. You don't have to make false claims. I won't do that, but we can still work on that through some
Yeah.
other ways. So you've got to get that comfort. So that's the balance that you'll have to keep. Ji.
That's a great advice, sir. Amazing advice. Sir, my fourth question from you is that looking back onto your own career, what is that one achievement that you have achieved particularly जिससे आप कहते हैं कि नहीं ये मेरी सबसे बड़ी achievement है?
That this question has been asked to me by many, and many times, and also tried to think, what has made me successful. आई पर्सनली देखिए, हर किसी का डिफरेंट एस्पेक्ट होता है, डिफरेंट पर्सनैलिटीज होती हैं. यू Someone is good in research, someone is good in arguments, there's a lot of good things, that a lot of qualities that each one has, but they're different.
Yeah.
For me, what worked, I think, is that I try to find solutions. And everyone in the field also who know me have always told me that, oh, even the counsel on the other side, they kind of say, oh, अच्छा है अरशद साहब है दूसरी side से because settle हो जाएगा. I start by on the concept by saying a bad settlement is better than a good case. You don't ever, think कि यार ये केस आया है इसको केस को लंबा करें इसको चलाते रहें. Solution oriented is what I've always been, and I find solutions. And sometimes the most difficult thing is, remember, is to tell your own client who comes and says, "Okay, I've been cheated, I've done this and this and that," to calm him down and say, "Listen, it's not as bad as you think. You're saying that, you need 20 rupees, work it out, and we do something and we get 10 rupees." So you have to work towards settlement because 95, and this some people don't know, like you said, 6 decades, and I've been practicing for 35 years plus, 95% of the cases never reach the conclusion. सूट फाइल करें 20 साल लगेगा अपील होगी अगेन अपील सेकंड अपील सुप्रीम कोर्ट by the time it reaches that final stage, the clients are dead, the interest is gone. So most of the cases that we do is only to get the settlement done and sorted it out. So if you get a quick good order in your favor, आपको मिल गया इंजंक्शन मिल गया, आप डायलॉग ओपन रख के क्लाइंट को भी समझाएं. और ये सो वन ऑफ द की फॉर मी has been that my clients trust me and I guide them, and they always, end of the day, they don't, after 10 years they'll say कि 10 साल से लड़ रहे हैं कुछ नहीं हुआ. They'd
हम्म.
rather be कि यार 3 साल में चले कुछ ना कुछ करा दिया. तो
हम्म.
it's I have this. I tell them that, don't think of me कि ये करते रहेंगे. The other side, my side, we all, like I said, bad settlement is better than a good case. That philosophy has worked and it's helped. And
Yeah.
one last thing that is also, and that's for all you lawyers, and I've seen that too many times with the young lawyers. Unfortunately, they think कि सिटी कोर्ट जाना है वगैरह. अनफॉर्चुनेटली अगेन हम देखते हैं पंजाब में कराची में भी हो गया कि lawyers बहुत बदतमीजी करते हैं. They shout at the judges, they get vocal, they get loud. They think that if they throw their weight around, they'll get their work done and they'll get the respect. It's, in my view, it's just the opposite. You're a lawyer, you'll get the respect of the judge, and the judge, believe me, will always remember कि this lawyer, she or he, really worked hard. I could not give relief at that time. Next time you go, I can assure you the judge will give you relief.
Sir, that's an amazing advice given by you, and obviously, sir, you have experience of 30 plus years. आपकी advice obviously is बहुत ज़्यादा हमारे हम सब young lawyers के लिए मायने रखती है. Sir, my last question from you is that what is that one piece of advice like you gave for all the young lawyers out there entering in the legal profession?
Yeah, so I already gave you a few, more than
Yeah.
one advice. But again, to sum it up, I think you need to work hard. There's no substitution to working hard. You need to be focused. You, one of the biggest thing you have to tell yourself, the young lawyers, is be patient. ये मैं सबको कहता हूं कि जी the earlier days are very difficult. Do not compromise on the earlier days. And if you join any law firm, uh, and start working, any young lawyer, I think the biggest mistake they do is that ये मेरा काम नहीं है, बस मुझे तो ये केस मिला है, मैं नहीं देखूंगा. For me, looking at young lawyers, what makes a difference for me, and they stand out, the young lawyers who want the hunger कि अगर डिवोर्स केस कर रही हूँ, अगर कंपनी केस कर रही हूँ या कर रहा हूँ, तो कोई और कुलीग अगर आपका कोई और एसोसिएट कर रहा है, तो यू स्टिल गेट इन्वॉल्व, स्टिल गिव योर टू बेस्ट, स्टिल, बिकॉज इट्स वेरी इजी फॉर यू टू से, आई ऑलरेडी हैव 3 cases, I don't want to. That early years, you've got to put in your hard work. You won't be paid well, but that is what will, in the after the first 5 years, you will stand out because that's the years that you put in. If in
Yeah.
the beginning you just stick to only the work that you're getting is not. And once again, the most difficult thing is, like I already told you, in today's time, and like you said, that, you know, the difference between then and now, also more and more it's become, there's AI.
Yeah.
तो AI में अभी आप कुछ भी डालेंगे ना, आपको सब मिल जाएगा. I am not the one who is against AI. Definitely not. And I think if there's a facility that is there, you should use it.
Yeah.
But do not compromise on your research. So whatever AI you can use, and then get into it and second check it. Never rely on AI alone and then say कि जी ये research मैंने कर ली. आप
Yeah.
उस case law निकालें, because many times you'll be surprised. Sometimes AI just make up cases. There's no such case.
Yeah.
So, you've got to be very careful, and then you look like a fool by saying, जी ये मतलब भाई कहाँ केस तो लाए. आप उसको केस निकालें, double check it, all that. That hard work is very necessary for your own development.
Yes, sir. Sir, that again, thank you so much, sir, for giving all of us these kind of advices. That
And
this will obviously help us a lot in our careers. It was an honor for me to have you, sir. Thank you so much for being here, and
thank you,
Mishal as well,
Mishal.
sir.
Pleasure being here. Thank you. Inshallah, wish you all the best.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Allah Hafiz.
Well,